Baby, it's meant to be, and that's our first track for today. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome on Tunis International Radio. You are listening right now to the daily edition of English language program presented by Houda Ben Cheikh on Air Studio 1 with my colleague Houda Bizit for the technical engineering and Sofiane Benjima for the live streaming. Today we are going to speak about art and a very particular art, which is mosaic. As you know, Tunisia is very famous for mosaic, especially part of its history is traced by lots of nice collection and interesting, amazing collections of mosaic that are available in the Bardo Museum for those who are really interested to pay a visit. And today we are going to speak about an interesting event about mosaic. It is to celebrate the International Mosaic Art Days. For this, I would like to thank my guest over the phone, Mrs. Tamara Froud, the president of the BAMM, which is the British Association of Modern Mosaic. Hi, Mrs. Tamara, how are you?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for accepting the invitation. It's quite an interesting event that is being held and organized these days, actually from the 16th till the 20th, and that's in the framework of the International Mosaic Art Days. Can you tell us a little bit about the event? What is it about? What type of program are you planning for? Are there workshops?
Okay, so let me just start by introducing myself.
Yeah, sure.
My name is Tamara Froud. As you correctly said, I am the president of the British Association for Modern Mosaic, or BAMM, which is in England, or the United Kingdom, excuse me. But I myself am a London-based mosaic artist, and I am dedicated to bringing mosaic to a wider audience. Yeah. So in order to do that, I've completed some 200 projects involving communities, and I've worked with thousands, literally thousands of adults and children of all ages and abilities in this process. So more recently I've been working with concrete and polystyrene to create bases for mosaic sculptures. But in my spare time I travel the world to teach and to set up and work on collaborative mosaic projects. So that's me. But I'm here with a team, and I speak on behalf of my team, and it's an amazing collection of very dedicated mosaic artists from around the world, and we're united through the love of our art form. So I would like to introduce them because I am speaking on their behalf. So there is Badi Essid Jabala, who is the president of TAMA, or the Mosaic Mosaic Association of Tunisia. There is Cristina Kuki, who is the creator of the Mosaichiamo la Città project in Marosso Mondolfo in Italy. There is Karim Trayen, who is a teacher of mosaic for the Ministry of Education in Tunisia. And there's Hannah Krichen, who's a doctor in fine arts in Sfax. Yeah. And we really are a diverse team from around the world, but we're drawn together by this common mission and the concept of bringing mosaic to a wider audience.
Exactly.
So that is our team. I would, if I can, I'd like to take this point to say thank you to Bazi for receiving us in Sousse here and for organising these 3 events over the next few days. And also to the whole team, without whom these events couldn't take place. So really a big thank you to our team and also to the Higher Institutes of Arts in Sousse and specifically the Arts department for receiving us here and collaborating with us.
Yeah, it's one of the kind, actually. Such events we are not really familiar with as media. We rarely hear about artistic event around mosaics. And what is really amazing about the TAMA, that means the Tunisian Association of Mosaic Art in Tunisia, is that they are trying to promote this art. And I was wondering, are there many artists who are really interested about this art, the mosaic art? I suppose it needs a lot of patience, a lot of time, a lot of passion about it.
You are absolutely correct. So I would say there is a small but growing number of passionate people around the world who really have picked up this art and become infused and addicted to it, and who really then immerse themselves in it. And I know that from teaching all the children and the communities that it is something that appeals, I feel it appeals to something in our human nature, to take building blocks and to put them together to create something artistic and beautiful. And it must, I really feel it must answer something that is in the human nature, because so many people come to me through the sessions and tell me it's like therapy, I felt so calm, it's such a relaxing process. But you're absolutely right, it does require a certain amount of patience to see something beautiful develop slowly. And it's almost the opposite of what the modern lifestyle is. You know, in the sense everything is quickly, and the internet is fast, and this is almost a chance to just take a step back and relax and get back to, you know, something that is really therapeutic in its process.
Yeah, sure it is. So here concerning mosaic, I'm really curious, and I suppose our audience too, what makes the difference between classical mosaic and contemporary mosaic that you are trying to disseminate today?
Oh, that's a really good question. So the thing is that the modern mosaic is, of course, influenced and informed by the ancient mosaic practice. So you couldn't have one without the other.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everyone here is familiar with the mosaic record of Tunisia, which comes from the Roman times mainly. And it's an amazing, like you said, it really is one of the best examples and collections of mosaics from that time. So the thing is, the building blocks are the same. We have a mosaic made from lines of tesserae. There are lime cement. They must be fixed to a solid base. And the tools that were used in antiquity were called hammers and hardies. And amazingly, that very same tool is still something that we use today. So the hammer and hardy is a hammer, and the hardy is a point of metal that comes, when you hammer down, you meet the point, so that the stone is cut between the two. And it's such an ancient tool, but it is still one of the best things you can use, amazingly. Yeah. I guess it has changed, so we still use lines of tesserae, we still use lime cements, we still use solid bases. But what has changed is, of course, we have new materials that have come over time. So in the Byzantine period, there was the introduction of glass, the glass processes, and all the wonderful colours that you get with that. And in modern days, there are a whole load of other materials that you can use that create, like, it's a rich variety and choice of materials that you can use. And similarly, you can use a whole load of different adhesives that are new, that weren't available in Roman times. They do a similar job, but they're just much more modern. And in terms of tools, although we still have the hammer and hardy, we now have a number of hand tools that are made especially for mosaic that are used for cutting the pieces, that really, I would say, help the process and enable people who perhaps can't use the hammer and hardy, which is quite technical, for them also to have a go. So, for example, children can use these hand tools. So that's a really nice way to bring it into the modern age. But essentially, the techniques are very similar.
Yeah, good. So, I suppose those who want to learn a little bit of patience, this is the best art that they can get into it and be involved in this practice.
You know, it's amazing. I think it helps to have a bit of patience. But I've worked with, ADHD children who really have a lot of energy and find it difficult to sit in one spot for a while. And even they have managed to have a moment where they are just lining up tiles, and putting them together to make something. And they can see, it's funny, you can see their delight in what they've created and seeing it come together. Right. Even if it's for a short time, it's an amazing to see them, how it takes, I guess it brings the focus in a way that other things don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose so. So for all those who are really interested to learn more about the MOSAIC, here it is a very a meeting. It's a platform. They should not miss this opportunity to meet these professionals who are all gathered in this wonderful event that is the International MOSAIC Art Days. They are in Sousse. If you want to meet them, to have to answer some of your curiosity and some of the questions, they are there. So what's in the program of these 3 days? It seems 4 days.
Well, we have been welcomed by the Institut de Beaux-Arts in Sousse.
Yes.
And what we have done is that there are a number of different arts professionals who have come from around the world and Tunisia to create mosaic creations during these next few days. So at the same time, we're inviting students to come and work with us and learn some of the techniques and some of the tools and the materials, and to work with us to create these mosaic results. So what is really nice is this really answers, but it's both part of our mission and also, of course, of the school, is to bring to inspire students and to let them try new things. So mosaic is not yet offered here, and this is a chance for them to experience it and to have a go in a very practical sense. So the students are dropping in, so they can choose to come and go, and they can wander between artists and learn from each one as they go round. So it's a wonderful opportunity to really bring this ancient art form to the younger minds and to inspire the next generation.
Yes, yes. Are there going to be conferences to talk? Are there going to be experts to speak about the techniques or to speak about the approaches to mosaic?
So we will be in the second week next week. We will be working with I've called it the Teachers Academy. I'm sorry, I don't have the French name here, but we will be having a more conference-based week, and we will be doing a number of presentations on the techniques and the modern art form, as well as ancient techniques and conservation techniques. So there will be a mix. Over the 2 weeks, there will be a certain amount of information that is brought to the audience and shared. And of course, there's the practical side that people can come and just have a go and be part of it, or just watch what we're doing, or get involved in any way that they want to.
Wonderful. So this is the opportunity to discover and to practice mosaic, but also to learn more about it thanks to these conferences. So here, what it seems that you are dividing the event into different periods. So this week there are beginnings of workshops, and next week there are going to be some conferences performed by some experts.
Yes, so there's a bit of both in both weeks. So there will be some conferences this week, there is some practical, and similarly next week there will be other conferences and another practical set of sessions. So our job really, or our aim of all the associations, so the three associations that are represented, so the BAMM, TAMA, and the MOSAIC Città from Italy, we are all really, it's answering the same aim for us, which is to bring the art form to the wider people, to support people on their mosaic journey, to share skills and knowledge, and most importantly, to inspire. I hope that the generation of students who take part today will look at the mosaic record of Tunisia in a different way and go to the Bardo Museum with new eyes and new excitement to visit what is such a rich resource that you have here. Exactly.
That's really wonderful, as we have an amazing collection of mosaics, and seems also in Sousse there. So for those who are really interested to join in this experience or to participate, do they have to register before coming?
That's a very good question. I'm not sure. Essentially this is open to students, but I would say that the public would be welcome to come and have a look and see the event going on, and certainly observe the sessions, certainly the practical sessions and the conferences.
Right. So for all those who are really interested to have more details, there is a social network of the TAMA where they are going to find all the details, the program where they can join in. If they will have some questions, you can answer them right away. My last question for today concerning the situation of MOSAIC today, this arts today. Are there challenges, are there difficulties that artists are meeting during the performance of their art?
So that's a very wide question, isn't it? There will always be challenges that people, that artists have as they do their art. Mm-hmm. For me personally, my mentality is that if you go into a project with the idea or a mindset of solutions, not problems, so there is always a solution to every problem. Yeah. And rather than looking at what the difficulties are, so for example, here there are different materials and different cements, mm-hmm. but I don't see that as a problem. For me, I see that as a learning process, and I'm still learning even after 25 years in the trade. Mm-hmm. And that's what keeps my excitement and my interest going. Mm-hmm. So yes, I think there are always difficulties. I think one of the most important difficulties is that this particular art form is not just about knowing the tiles and how to lay them. Mm-hmm. The mosaics must always go on to something, and finding and preparing and getting the right bases for your mosaics often presents the biggest problems. So if you're going onto a wall, sometimes the walls are not stable, or they're wet, or they have a covering on them. Mm-hmm. All of that is part of the knowledge that the mosaic artist needs and must learn as they go through their learning, their career. Yeah. And that, I guess, is another reason why it has kept my interest for so long, is because of that variety. Every project is a different challenge, and I love that. For me, it's an inspiration.
Exactly. These challenges and the difficulties are a way of building oneself, are a way of learning something more and creating better, probably. So these difficulties, we should not consider them as obstacles, but a way to develop a better and in a better way.
I totally agree, yeah.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Tamara Froud, the President of the BAMM, British Association of Modern Mosaic. So for all those who are really interested, join them during this period from the 16th till the 20th, and that's in Sousse, the event for all those who want to know more. There is a social network where you can join them, have more ideas, be interested and motivated to learn more about mosaic. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Back to music.